What's up guys, this is Danny from Rethink Peer-to-Peer Lending. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will share with you a transparent view on the performance of my current peer-to-peer portfolio, as well as discuss the most recent events that have happened on a number of platforms. Among other topics, we will look at the newly introduced fees at Estateguru, the performance at LANDE, and whether or not you should sell your Jordan loans on Esketit. But first, let's take a look at my personal peer-to-peer portfolio and what happened in September. Overall, I generated a total income of 600 euros through my peer-to-peer lending portfolio, which is now the third month this year in which I was able to break the mark of 600 euro. New personal best income numbers from individual peer-to-peer platforms came last month from PeerBerry with 277 euros and from Esketit with 143 euros. The best performance in my portfolio continues to be delivered by PeerBerry, followed by Income Marketplace with 12.18% and ViaInvest with 11.2%. The negative frontrunner remains Bondora Portfolio Pro with 1.58%. In the previous month, I had a total of 6 transactions. On the deposit side, I added 2,000 euros on Esketit and each 1,000 euros on PeerBerry, LANDE and Heavy Finance. In terms of withdrawals, I withdrew 2,893 euros from Bondora Go and Grow, which is now wrapping up my exit on the intransparent black box product. In addition, another 200 euros have been withdrawn from Bondora Portfolio Pro, which therefore equals a total net deposit result of 1,907 euros in September. The value of my outstanding peer-to-peer portfolio increased to 78,050 euros. Most likely the mark of 80 grand will be hit in the next month. Next up, let's have a closer look at the main developments that have happened on a number of platforms. As you can see from the statistics on PeerBerry, the demand, despite increasing dissatisfaction regarding cash drag, remains very high. In September, 75.7 million euros in loans were funded, which is a new record for the platform, while at the same time the portfolio under management has increased to 170 million euros. In response to the increasing demand, Aventus has recently added yet another lender to the PeerBerry marketplace, which is Smart Credito from Spain. With this lender, investors are now offered an annual return of 10% with a loan term of up to 30 days, as well as the classic buyback and group guarantee. The Spanish loans will be listed 3 times a week on PeerBerry, which is on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. So if the lender fits your risk profile, make sure to adjust your auto-invest settings accordingly. Next up, we are looking at Esketit, where investors might wonder how to deal with their Jordan loans now due to the conflict in the Middle East. On Telegram, the local management commented and tried to put the situation in perspective, talking about the general political instability in the Middle East and that Jordan, due to its neutral position, has always been a stable cornerstone in the region. Currently, there seems to be no negative impact for the lender as growth is happening on a stable level in line with a managed risk profile. Of course, these are very positive and reassuring words, which obviously every investor would like to read. But let's face it, a very critical or maybe even cautionary statement could have hardly been expected. So instead, let's take a look at how other investors are assessing the situation and how this conflict in the Middle East might impact their investment decision on Esketit. As you can see from the survey, about half of the 184 participants said that they will leave their investment on Esketit unchanged, while 32% will temporarily pause their investment, 12% will actively sell their investments, and 8% will increase their position. So overall, it's a mixed bag with a tendency between business as usual and slight caution. If you look at the secondary market on Esketit, there doesn't seem to be any panic at the moment, as no Jordan loans are being offered for sale with a discount. The fact that political risks shouldn't be underestimated has been made clear not least by the war in Ukraine. Therefore, I have decided to pause my Jordan strategy for the time being. However, this is only a small precautionary measure in risk control, as I am still invested in Jordan loans via the diversified strategy. On Income Marketplace, the issue of cash drag seems to be resolved for now, as new loans are now regularly available for purchase on the primary market. As a result, the managed portfolio has recently increased again from 10.4 million euros to 12.3 million euros. Due to irregular repayments from some of their lenders, there seems to be twisted views on the true performance of the platform. That's why I can already tease that in the near future, there will be a new format specifically dedicated for investors of Income Marketplace, which will hopefully help them to get a better understanding about the processes in the background of the marketplace. A platform without bigger news or announcement recently has been LANDE, so here's my current look on the platform. In September, LANDE reached the mark of 15 million euros financed in agricultural loans, which is not quite the big world yet, but overall the growth of the platform looks very organic and natural. The same applies to the newly acquired users. With almost 6,000 investors, the user base has almost doubled this year. The supply of loans is still relatively high and stable for this point of the year. One reason is the market entry in Romania, where there are increasingly more loans available. The same goes for Lithuanian loans as well. Despite all this, the supply could become somewhat smaller again towards the winter months. The performance of the loan portfolio continues to be very stable. Currently, 1.57% of the portfolio is in the recovery process, which equals 2.39% of all outstanding loans in absolute numbers. In addition, there are 5.93% of loans that are more than 60 days late. However, as soon as the income for the crop sales comes in, this figure could also decrease again. But even if it doesn't, a default rate of between 6 and 8% would still be within a manageable range. As far as Estateguru is concerned, a default rate of below 10% might be a sweet dream for the platform, as 49% of the portfolio, which equals 553 loans, which equals 132.6 million euro, are currently in the recovery process. In order to convince even the last investor that one should not invest on the platform anymore in the future, the platform has recently announced another fee structure, which will lead to investors surrendering a part of their profits in the future. The so-called asset under management fee will lead to investors paying 0.05% of their outstanding performing principal, capped at 50 euro per month, which would equal a portfolio of 100,000 euros. This means in simple terms that a properly running portfolio will lead to a 0.6 lower return per year. Assuming you are having a portfolio of 10,000 euros, this could be up to 60 euros being charged through this fee. If you want to take it with a pinch of humor, you could now assume that this management fee will not be due anyway, given the poor performance of the loan portfolio. But the sad truth is here that, as explained in the last portfolio update, the platform probably has no other option due to their financial difficulties, so Estateguru now urgently needs to find additional sources of revenue. The fact that normal retail investors who already have to assume a significantly lower expected return due to the poor performance now also have to give up to 0.6% of the annual return will probably not convince any investor to give Estateguru another chance in the long run. The fact that real estate investments can actually work in those difficult market situations with increasing interest rates is the Lithuanian platform Crowdpear. In Q3, 72% more loans were financed than in the previous quarter. All borrowers of the 51 finance projects are currently on schedule for repayment, and the platform recently received a license as a European crowdfunding service provider. So if you really want to invest in real estate, Crowdpear should be among the first platforms to consider. Also personally, I have invested each 1,000 euros in September and October. That's all I have for this month's portfolio update. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to this channel to not miss out on any future videos.